Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I am Diego Castro. President Bongbong Marcos and U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris discussed a historic nuclear cooperation deal during their meeting on the sidelines of the APEC summit. In a statement by the White House, Harris welcomes the swift conclusion of the negotiations for the 123 agreement, which were launched while she was in Manila last year. The White House adds that this agreement will provide the legal basis for U.S. exports of nuclear equipment and material to the Philippines, which will support American workers and businesses. Marcos also mentioned that he and U.S. Vice President Harris talked about issues in the West Philippine Sea following recent encounters with China in disputed waters. He added that he would meet with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping to discuss measures that will prevent the escalation of tension in the area.
We will get the view of the Chinese president on what we can do to bring down the temperature, to not escalate the situation in the West Philippine Sea. And we will put all of these together so as we'll be able to strategize for the near future on what the Philippines' role will be, or what is the proper Philippines role in the West Philippines.
President Marcos moves to stir up interest for the Maharlika Investment Fund at the APEC summit. Marian Enriquez with a report.
With the full-stacked economic delegation joining him at the APEC summit, President Bongbong Marcos made it a point to pitch the Maharlika Investment Fund to potential investors over in San Francisco.
We look forward to the operationalization of the Maharlika Investment Fund, the country's first ever sovereign investment fund. It will serve as an additional source and mode of financing for priority projects of the government, including the infrastructure flagship.
President Marcos said the MIF is expected to finance at least 80 high-return infrastructure projects, pushing the Philippines as a leading investment hub in Asia. Maharlika Investment Corporation President and CEO Rafael Consing Jr. also gave details on where the fund will be used.
We've basically identified 4 pillars in terms of our investments. This is basically going to be focused on A, tourism infrastructure, B, building agro-urbanism, third, to be able to meet meet our energy requirements, and finally, ICT.
The MIC will also be choosing from the 197 infrastructure flagship projects identified by NEDA, which includes bridges and airports.
We're going to be looking at those lists, and we're going to be looking at opportunities within that list. A, because it's already been approved by the NEDA, the fastest way is for us to be able to choose one of those projects and see how we can immediately enable and be able to roll out the first part of our investment.
The MIC will also be holding more investment roadshows to entice foreign capital.
One of the things that we will be undertaking would be to undertake a roadshow, a follow-up roadshow, given the fact that initial indications have already been expressed by potential investors into the fund, and what we'd like to do now is to follow that up.
Consing is also hoping to appease concerns over the implementing rules of the Maharlika Fund, particularly claims that the IRR had been tweaked to accommodate his appointment. In the previous version of the IRR, the president and CEO of the MIC is required to have an advanced degree, either a master's or PhD in finance, economics, business, or any related field. Based on the profile that was released by Malacanang, Consing has a bachelor's degree in political science from the De La Salle University. He also finished an executive education course at Stanford University. Recall that President Marcos previously suspended the implementation of the IRR pending further study, but now the revised IRR posted in the Official Gazette only requires exceptional experience and expertise, which Consing clearly has as a corporate finance veteran. The Maharlika chief had this to say.
By putting in those qualifications, it had the effect of amending the law, which is not the intention. So what they did was they simply brought it back and aligned it with what the law exactly said. And that was not just applicable to the PCEO.
Despite persisting concerns over the fund, the government is hoping to have the MIF operational before the year ends. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. Former President Rodrigo Duterte remains unfazed on the investigation against his drug war. In his SMNI program, Gikan sa Masa para sa Masa, the former president said the International Criminal Court and former Senator Laila de Lima can even join forces. Duterte was reacting to statements by de Lima that she is now considering assisting the ICC on the drug war probe.
Yung sa ICC, magsama-sama na kayo ng ICC, iha.
De Lima, who was freed on bail in her last drug case earlier this week, had this to say.
Sabi kasi ni former President Duterte kagabi sa program niya, tinanong about suicide, sabi niya lang, ma'am, magsasama na daw po kayo ng ICC.
Ano kayang kasalanan ko? Did I commit any crime against humanity? Wala. So ano magiging basehan? Siya lang ang makukulong.
Former President Duterte says people should keep an eye on the armed forces and police amid recent political developments. Speaking on SMNI's Gikan sa Masa para sa Masa, Duterte claimed that there is uneasiness in the apparently emerging alliance between House Speaker Martin Romualdez and ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro. Duterte insinuated that Romualdez has been wooing different groups to his side to bolster his presidential bid in 2028. He said Romualdez has joined hands with Castro and her bloc in filing a complaint against him for grave threats. Duterte insisted that he is not involved in destabilization but that he is only being frank about the political headwinds which affect the sentiments of the military and the police. In weather, rains are expected over several parts of the country this weekend. This is due to the shear line, or the convergence of cold and warm winds, and the trough of a low-pressure area outside the Philippine territory. Affected areas include the Bicol region, northern Samar, eastern Samar, Caraga, Davao de Oro, Davao Oriental, Palawan, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. Meanwhile, the northeast monsoon or amihan may also trigger rains over Luzon, including Batanes, Cagayan, and Metro Manila. Classes have been suspended in the localities of Barili, Liloan, Minglanilla, and Talisay in Cebu, as well as the entire provinces of Bohol and Negros Oriental. And that's it for this hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.